What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Taurean Reloaded channel. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to hit that bell and have your notifications set to all so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. And also be sure to share and like this content and also share it on your various social media platforms. So today, as you can see, I have the camera on, so that means it's another story time video. And today I will be talking about the time I worked on a CarMax commercial. And this story, I believe the year, it was after I graduated college, so it had to be between 2011 and 2012. I would say between 2011 and 2013. It was somewhere around that time. I can't remember the actual specific years, but I do know it was after I graduated college. I do know that. So basically what happened, how this actually occurred or how this came about is, I was at the time, I was really heavy into wanting to do film and television, anything like that, commercials and whatnot. So I just was submitting for different, projects that was around in the area, especially because this area where I live in is not like Atlanta, it's not New York, it's not LA, where there's a lot of stuff like this and a lot of opportunities going on. Hell, at the time, Atlanta wasn't really popping like that, how it is now. It was still mainly the LA and New York markets that really had all the good stuff. But so I submitted for this, and I submitted to it like a little casting agency in Baltimore. Went in, did the audition and everything, submitted for it and everything. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked for, an actual role for, to actually interact with anybody as far as like a speaking part and whatnot. But they decided they liked my look and that they could find a way to squeeze me into doing a commercial. So, I end up, this is probably gonna be one of my shorter stories. It's not like a big major story like like some of the other ones, but it's a story nonetheless that I wanted to bring to you. So I go and do, they see me, then, when it comes to this, type of thing, they have to call you in, get you fitted, make sure that, that the attire that you're wearing. Now, with me being like a background extra, you didn't have to get fitted for like a costume or anything like that. You just went in, they just saw you, made sure that you were groomed correctly for the look. And it's a CarMax commercial, so it's dealing with cars. I was just playing like a regular customer in the background looking at a car to potentially buy. And I'm kind of jumping forward with this. It's how ironic that the car that I have now, years later after this commercial is done, I get off of a CarMax lot. It's crazy how all of that works itself out. So I go in. It's the waiting process. I've talked about this before on other, videos when I do stuff like this. Waiting game, they got to set everything up, then they call you and whatnot. Now, here's where it got interesting for me personally. So I'm guessing, because I never really learned what the true story was behind this, but I'm assuming that one of the people who I guess went in audition for a featured extra spot, which is basically you interacting with the main character. You don't really have any lines, but you are interacting with the main character, the person who wants to buy a car, like you would actually be seeing. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a scheduling conflict or they just couldn't make it to the set. Well, guess what ended up happening? Yours truly got bumped up from a background extra to a featured extra. I literally took the spot of the person who couldn't show up for whatever reason it was. I never found out what it was. It's really none of my business to ask or wonder why they didn't. It is what it is. It's like the stars and the planets aligned for me that day. So what they did is they said so-and-so, they said my name. They said something happened. You need to come with us we need you to come with us right now. Like, I'm thinking like something bad happened to the point where I'm not going to be able to be in the commercial anymore. But they said no. So what they did was they took me into the dressing room, a place where I would have never gone into. They took me into the dressing room and they quickly asked me, what is your shirt size? I told them my shirt size and they gave me a CarMax employee shirt because it was a CarMax commercial. So they said, you've been bumped up to a featured extra. And I literally, my heart started racing because I knew exactly what that meant. I was like, wow, I'm actually going to be seen. Like, I'm actually going to be put out there in the front. So they ended up giving me a CarMax shirt and I think some slacks, because I think that's the uniform. I think it's the blue shirt that says CarMax on it and some khakis or some slacks or something like that. So they put that onto me and they literally rushed me after that, like I literally had to switch out of the clothes I already had on into those clothes in like 5 minutes. It was really, really fast because it was a last minute switch. It's not like they had a lot of time. So, and then on top of that, we was working against nature because it was about to be a storm coming. So we needed to work against that. We needed as much sunlight as we possibly could. So it was a really fast, quick shoot. So they took me, put me in the attire, and then took me to the front where all the cameras and all the lights and the main character of the commercial was at. It was a PC woman who I had to interact with. You know, like she was the customer and I was the employee trying to help her sell a car to her. And we did the shoot. Basically, all I had to do was walk around the car, smile, point, make it seem like I knew what I was doing. And she was smiling, in agreements like, oh, I want this car, I want that car, and things like that. And we probably did maybe 5 takes. Like I said, it had to be rushed because one, I got shoehorned into this at the last minute because someone didn't show up, and two, it was about the storm. Like it was getting overcast and everything, so they didn't want to get the equipment wet. We still had to make it seem like this was, daylight outside. Who's shooting a car commercial? Who's buying a car in the rain anyway? But that's what ended up happening. So we did that, and that was pretty much it. I could not believe it. I remember when I was done, I told my parents, I said, y'all won't believe what happened. The commercial that I got picked up to do, I got put into the front. Like to the point where when this airs on TV, you're actually going to see me. Now, here's the con to that. Time had went by, and when it comes to commercials, they give like a certain amount of time. Like they give you a window when it comes to certain products, like how long they're going to run a particular ad. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be one of them lifetime kind of things if you're lucky. Now, where I was at was in another part of the state than from where I'm at. So I'm guessing that this was a local commercial for the local dealership and not not a national one, because CarMax is a national chain. Unfortunately, the con to this is I would go on with this commercial having this role and never have ever seen it. Basically, this commercial aired and I never saw it. Because, like I said, it most likely was a local commercial. So people in other parts of the state probably saw it, but they wouldn't know who I am because I didn't know anybody lived up there. So it's not like I could have told any of my friends or other family members or associates or coworkers that, hey, I was in this commercial. So, I mean, just look out for me or whatever the case may be. To this day, I still haven't seen it. And at this point of the game, you're talking about, it's been 10 years now, about almost 10 years since I did it. Or maybe 10 years since I did it. I will never see it, but I will always have that memory of me getting bumped up right there on the set. And I'm telling you right now, that almost rarely happens. It is very rare that you will get bumped up from a spot where you probably won't get seen that much to a point where you are interacting with the main character of the shoot. That is very rare that happens. I actually have another story that I'll be doing when it comes to something similar to that, but it's not like, but I wasn't bumped up. It's because I was already there, but I just happened to interact with the main character. But that's going to be another story that I'm going to have for you later on. But that's pretty much it. That's just my experience of me working on a CarMax commercial. And ironically, I think that was the first commercial that I've ever worked on. So what a great first experience. But y'all let me know what y'all think. And that's my take on it.